How are you?
Allison, were these given to the town clerk, the emails? If not, no, I know, but Kim made copies for everybody. Okay, if not, we'll get them to them, okay? Okay. What are they doing over there? Did they not know? How are you? Good, thanks. We have. Is that these? Yep, we all have.
Okay, wasn't sure, so I brought them along just in case.
Oh, perfect.
Copies of everything, so I gotta try and find the right one.
Okay, take your time. We got a couple minutes. We're gonna.
You want to ask for a, what we were speaking with, Ms. Lehman and, the rest of them. Kind of a synopsis.
We won, and then he appealed it, so I'll have oral arguments probably the next.
Probably go down about 3%.
You reduce the cost by millions and millions?
I hope so.
Thank you. They're not coming, I'm taking it for them. Because of COVID.
I know. And I also have this street name. But they're not coming because of the law. Did Stroll have one at Bongo?
I gave one to all the members.
They made it to town clerk. It's before the traffic advisory board. Well, they're parking there because they're speeding on the road, so the traffic advisory board's meeting.
Speeding in Livingston, Lawrence, that's been going on for 20 years. Yeah.
But they're not getting tickets tonight, apparently they're not. After, from March, whatever, after a certain hours you can't park there, right?
Oh, at night you can't.
At night. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll read them into them. Okay, so welcome everybody to the regular town board meeting of December 15th, 2020. Town clerk, can we get the roll call?
Councilman Dennis Troy,
Present.
Councilman Tom Zivini,
Here.
Councilman Paul Valentine,
Here.
Councilman Jerry Vitari,
Here.
Supervisor Teresa Kenny.
Here. Okay, we're going to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Esther did not call and ask for anyone in particular, so we'll let...
Yes.
She did? I'm sorry, okay. She called, I don't even know why I asked.
Speed dial.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we have a couple of announcements. First, we we have some certificates to honor. We had some young volunteers at the Blowout Hot Cocoa for Heroes stand, and they raised over $3,000 for the Rockland Homes for Heroes. So, are these Troy's yours? We wonder why it's on the list. There's 3 of them are Troy's. Okay, so, anyway, go ahead.
I was speaking to John Murphy earlier tonight, and John Murphy is saying that the community in general has been unbelievably charitable for the Homes for Heroes, and also he has the Maggie Conway House, that people are sending food, money, and he put out on Facebook, I guess, the kids who did the Hot Cocoa for Heroes. They've done it now several years in a row, and I'm proud of the fact that some of them are my grandchildren.
How much did your hot cocoa cost is what I want to know.
About $50. Very expensive hot cocoa. So it's Madeline Troy, who's from Valley Cottage, not Valley Cottage, Cottage Lane School. Brendan Troy, who's down at Schaefer School. Karen Troy, who was in daycare. Arturo Garcia, better known as Quattro for Arturo Garcia IV. His younger brother, Braden Garcia, and Lily Garcia. So the Garcia and the Troy families have been doing this at different locations over the last several years, and I think it's a very valuable lesson to learn when you're at that age that there are other people who need help, and you got to step up to the plate and do something to help others. So, very proud of them. Thank you.
Next year, let us know where they're having it, and we'll make sure we get the word out to everyone can buy $50 hot
So
chocolate.
you can get a $50 hot chocolate.
Okay, and you'll see that they get those. Okay, the next week, we have a presentation. The first thing is basically I'm going to be presenting the dedication of Valentine Avenue as Reverend Dr. Lewis Sanders Way. Unfortunately, due to COVID, no one could be here to accept the very nice certificate, but I'm going to read it. I know we're being watched on Facebook Live. I know that everyone from the church is very excited about this and is looking forward to being here in person and saying a few words. But anyway, I will read it. Whereas Reverend Dr. Lewis Sanders was ordained in 1975 after earning his Master's of Divinity from the Union Theological Seminary in New York City, he became the pastor of the St. Charles AME Zion Church in Spark Hill in 1981 and continued there until 2017, retiring to Virginia with his wife Connie. Whereas during his 36-year tenure as St. Charles AME Zion Church in Spark Hill, he increased the membership from 15 members to a church that is now known internationally, especially in Africa. He also created a place of community by implementing Reach Out Suburbia, a program for disadvantaged homeless youth, as well as SAT tutorial and cultural awareness programs and on-site HIV and AIDS testing. Whereas Reverend Dr. Lewis Sanders' mission work included building churches in the Republic of Ghana and providing scholarships to enable the poor youth in Ghana to attend school. He led his congregation to help many of the families impacted from Hurricane Katrina by finding housing and paying their rent for a year. Reverend Dr. Lewis Sanders' commitment to human and civil rights has been recognized by his induction into the Rockland County Civil Rights Hall of Fame in 2009. Whereas Reverend Dr. Lewis Sanders taught social studies in the Tuckahoe Union Free School District from 1967 to 1998, he also served as a U.S. Air Force chaplain, retiring with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel in 2003. In addition, he helped train other military chaplains for service in Desert Storm. Whereas Reverend Dr. Lewis Sanders was noted for how he encouraged those around him and saw the potential of each and every person. Whereas Reverend Dr. Lewis Sanders entered eternal life on February 27, 2020, and whereas on the 15th of December 2020, the town board designated a roadway in Reverend Dr. Lewis Sanders' name for a term of 5 years to honor the deceased with the intention of installing nearby Memorial Street signs to signify the dedication. Now therefore be resolved that I, Teresa Kenny, Supervisor of the Town of Orangetown, on this 15th day of December 2020, on behalf of the Town Board, in honor of the deceased, Valentine Avenue between Union Street and Ferdinand Avenue is designated as Reverend Dr. Lewis Sanders Way. The aforementioned designation will expire on December 2025. So I didn't have the pleasure of really knowing the Reverend, but in reading this, it speaks volumes about the kind of person he was, and we've been doing some name dedications, and it's my honor to be naming this section of the road for Dr. Lewis Sanders. So, anybody have any comments?
No, Reverend Sanders did the benedictions here several of the years. He was just a very, very impressive man, and leader. I just remember being in the church right after 9/11, and it turned out he was the most impressive speaker that I heard. 9/11, I heard a lot of different people, I heard eulogies, this and that, but the Reverend Sanders was incredible, absolutely incredible. The only thing, when you went to church there, it was like about a 3-hour ceremony, but it was between the choir that was there and the Reverend Sanders speaking, it was just magical.
Anybody? No? Okay, so we're going to move on to the next. We have the presentation from Lothrop Associates. They're the architects for the new town hall project, to discuss the status of the project and
Good evening. Name is Michael Berta. I'm an associate with the firm. Also with me is Bob Gabalski. He's one of the partners in the firm. Good evening, and thank you. Thank you for letting us attend tonight and present. As you know, while we were working on the project, we came to find out that when the geotech report was done, that there was a water issue. So it made us take a step back and relook at what we were doing and how the design was going in order to deal with the high groundwater problem. So we came up with a number of different ideas, and one of which was to provide a waterproof basement, basically creating a bathtub. Problem with that is there's no guarantee on the longevity on 30 or 40 years down the road that it won't leak. So then we re-examined, and we came up with the idea of moving the basement to the third and creating a new third floor. Now, a lot of benefits that does create. Believe it or not, by adding a third floor and eliminating the basement, it actually lowers the budget. It actually will save money in the long run. There's a substantial savings on foundation and a lot of other numbers, so there's a very large cost savings. Now, also, it gives the building a nice prominence. As you can see by the plans, we did have, is there any chance we can get the color elevations up?
oh, you're asking the wrong. Let's see. We have there's some behind you.
I didn't want to start playing with your laptop. The black and whites just don't do it justice.
Especially with the nice
There we go.
blue sky.
Yes. So, as you can see, we've stepped the second floor back so that it's you can see it, but it's not as prominent as it is not overbearing. But what that does, it does provide enough room for what was required, and creates a very nice sight line. And by doing that with the stair tower on the north side, it actually creates a very nice entrance and a very appealing entrance to walk in on the side. And it's also just really just not an overbearing. And the biggest thing about it is it really creates the flow of the building, and the use of it it's a wonderful flow. So. I'm sorry.
And I think one of the other important things to point out is that removing the space from the basement and putting it on the third floor means that anyone who might be working in the basement is not working in a basement anymore. They're working on a story that's above grade with natural light. The other thing it did is take unusable space that was extra space in the basement out of the footprint. The basement was as big as it was in the museal design because it was under the entire footprint of the addition. And all along the way, the entire team knew that there was too much space in the basement. And so when we looked at adding the third floor and subtracting the basement, we found that there were economies of scale that could be realized by compacting the footprint of the third floor. So we're actually creating a smaller building, better natural light for the square footage that was in the basement that now will be above grade, and providing better space for occupants of the building on all 3 floors of the building. So I think that's one of the big bonuses here. The waterproofing of the basement is a viable option. It just comes with a whole lot of extra cost to make sure that you're designing a bathtub in a reverse way to keep water out instead of the bathtubs we have in our homes, which are designed to keep water in. And when you remove that complication and add the third floor, which is above grade and easier to keep waterproof with roof and walls instead of hydrostatic pressure from underground water pushing against the deep foundation walls, we feel it's a better approach here. And as Mike mentioned, in the end, even though there are added design costs, the fact that there's a smaller footprint for the third floor and combined with it being a small, a better space for the inhabitants, we think it's a better job.
Well, as somebody who's worked in the basement of the old town hall, I can certainly appreciate not being down there.
Well, we felt bad for the people that were down there.
Now, would this change the timeline on how, like, the time for construction? Is it something that would be save time, or is it not really?
Not really save time. It's a different type of trades that are coming in. Instead of excavating a 13-foot deep hole, it'll be a shallow foundation, and it'll be a little extra steel. So instead of the masons being here longer, the steel erectors will be here a little longer.
Anybody? Questions?
Can you just highlight for the board? So this is option number 3, which is a net savings of $312,000 on its own right. Then can you talk about the cost reduction items that you've detailed here as well, so they can understand, just separate those 2 items?
Are you referring to the skylights?
Skylight, the cupola, and those changes.
I don't know if you said it. Okay. Just want to grab my paperwork. So, the additional cost savings, sorry, I apologize, I'm used to walking around when I'm talking. The additional cost savings, which is this option that you're seeing here, it encompassed a number of the features that are on here, removing them. We would remove the skylight in the entranceway as you walk in, where the connection is to the buildings, the new and the old. Right now, we have a skylight with raised glass. We would eliminate the skylight, just have a roof instead of a skylight, so we lose a lot of natural light in the center of the building. The other is we would take away the entire cupola, so it would just be a flat roof, no high glass at all. And Then there's other changes to equipment and, for a second. Forgive me for not being better prepared. Also got my damn reading glasses. Okay, so we broke it into three different, an A, B, and a C. Option B would be removing a portion of the elevated roof, which is what I was just describing. As you're walking in, when you walk in the main entrance and you're walking through the addition and you get to the atrium in between the new and the old building, right where your entrance is now, we have a raised section that the second floor can overlook into the atrium. We would remove that section as part of an option and just have that, second floor wouldn't have an overview now into the atrium. It would, and when you walk in the atrium, it would be a level 12-foot or 14-foot high ceiling.
Is that less windows?
It would have no windows.
So the people on that side of the building would have no windows?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. The second floor would have the windows. There are windows on the second floor overlooking the roof.
But they look over the roof.
They'll look over the roof.
With the glass.
Right. Well, the way, if I may, the way we currently have the second floor designed is that the offices are all on the other side, they're looking into the parking lot. That side is more of a hallway, and it's an access way. The elevator comes up, and it's a hallway to get, basically running the whole length of that, of the east side of the building, overlooking. So we do have windows on that side. They're just really to bring in natural light into the area, but all of the offices are facing west, and they all have windows. There are a couple interior offices, but for the majority, the offices and the habitable space is all on the west side. So eliminating the overlook is more just of a feature. So, yeah, of course.
So you may recall in the original museal design and the renderings that were done a couple of years ago, that connector was a 2-story high connector where it was an interior open atrium, the full length of that connector, some 200 feet. And to save cost out of the gate when we started, we talked about not having the interior spaces that fronted on that gallery from both the existing building and the new building, not look down into an atrium, but have windows to the exterior. And so it saved money by reducing the length of the 2-story gallery to just the intersection of the corridor that is the gallery and the intersection that comes into the existing building now, and highlighting that with a pyramidal roof, a skylight, and then clear story windows all around that would kind of celebrate that intersection and kind of emphasize it as an architectural node. So what we're proposing here, even though the entire team loves the cupola and skylight, including folks on Orangetown's team, we could list those kinds of cost savings as deduct alternates in the bid documents so that if money needed to be saved or cost of the project was a concern, you could choose not to, or choose to elect those deduct alternates, and that could bring the cost of the project more in line. So it's a bit of a cushion on the cost side if you needed to save money, but if you didn't and you wanted those architectural features to celebrate that kind of interior intersection, which tells you go north, go south, go up into the police station or the courtroom or into the new addition, you could have that amenity as part of the project.
Yeah, I mean, as Bob just said, I mean, these are items that, if costs need to be saved, we're not advocating these because we think that the design, they're great in the design, and I think it works well with the building. A couple of the other items that we were discussing to save some money would be, if you remember in the front design, the usual front entrance, it was a very large glass structure with a lot of high glass, a lot of doors, and it comes in and it connects into portion of the existing 1959 building. So what we were proposing is to redesign the front entrance so that the entrance will be such that we don't have to touch the 1959 building as of right now while we're doing the construction. And that, this way it will alleviate, if you needed to hold off on demolishing that for cost savings reasons, the building could remain up. So.
And it streamlines the construction of that whole entry into the new town boardroom, that large vestibule where anyone coming to a town board meeting could congregate. While the rest of the town hall addition was closed down, it streamlines how that kind of south and east wall of that connector intersects with the joint between the 50s and building and the current addition we're in. So the complications that were there in the original museal design would be mitigated, if not eliminated. So that's one where I think we should do it anyway.
There are a couple of logistic issues with that, because when the building comes down, if you remember that we're building a new staircase from the existing basement of this building to the outside. So we would still need to maintain access through the 1959 building as part of the egress plan for the lower level of this building. So there are a couple issues that would have to be overcome by keeping that up, but it simplifies a lot of issues by readjusting that just to be able to keep the building up. Plus, lastly, there are a number of just minor cost savings, moving things around here, tweaking things a little bit, and doing things that you wouldn't notice, but they're just little elements that may save a little bit on the budget. Nothing big.
Mentioned flat roofs.
I'm sorry?
It's going to be a flat roof?
Yes, sir. Yeah, the whole building is a flat roof.
All right, my question on that is here in the northeast. We have it here in this building, with the leaks and whatever. What is done to mitigate that?
Well, we're putting up a 0.9 millimeter roof, so it's a heavyweight roof, and it will come with a 25-year warranty, a 20-year warranty. It'll come with a long warranty. Plus, the way we have it designed right now is that we have a slightly larger than standard pitch on the insulation in order to drain it better. So we're doing a few things that are a little bit different.
Also, what usually doesn't happen on new flat roof installation projects is getting the manufacturer's rep out there to do pull tests on the seams between sections of flat roofing and to do inspections on all the seams and corners and miters and parapet wall details. And we make that part of our spec because manufacturers' reps provide that as part of the cost of the product to the contractor, and it ensures that the warranty is not challengeable should there be a need to call in a warranty claim. So, we've done a huge number of flat roofs, and when you do them right and don't cut corners, because the roof doesn't leak in the middle of a piece of rubber roofing, it leaks at the seams and at the edges. And the devil is in the details, and when you pay attention to those details and have the manufacturer's rep out there watching the certified installer pay attention to those details, the risk of roof leaks is greatly diminished. So that's why we're comfortable with a flat roof.
And as Bob just said in that, if you didn't pick up on it, it's a certified roofer. So part of our spec we write as that the roofer has to be certified by the manufacturer, and that means that they've gone through all the classes, they've taken all in, they've been approved by the manufacturer as a certified installer. So it's not anybody can go to the roofer, pick up some a rubber roof and just put it down. they have to be certified by the manufacturer. So, which also ensures that you'll get the warranty and you'll have the installation done. Because if they get a callback, they lose their certification.
So the new building's going to be on a slab?
Yes.
And what are they, driving piles to hold the steel?
We're not sure if they're driving piles yet.
Helical piles, right? Pile caps?
We're not sure yet.
You're not sure yet?
We haven't, because of, with the stop, we haven't released the engineer to redesign the foundation, so we're not sure how he's doing it. But most likely, as Bob said, if it is piles, there will be helical piles, which are screw jacks.
Right.
The little screw piles with a cap on them.
So it'll either be piers on conventional square footings or helical piles or driven piles with pile caps, and then a structural slab that's designed to assume that the soil is not underneath it, so it's not a slab on grade, because if it settles a half inch, that's a problem.
Right.
And because of the water underground and the types of soils that are there, you want to make sure that the slab doesn't settle.
So the slab is pretty much independent of the ground below it because the ground with the high water table can
It will
shrink.
be. Yeah, the slab will be, it'll be able to hold itself up. And again, once we go, as Bob said, it's either going to be the helical piles or deep piles, one way or the other, but it will be probably an 8-inch structural slab, which will be waterproofed underneath it.
Or potentially a really deep slab that's really heavy to prevent the water pressure from lifting it up.
So we'll study those during the redesign.
And if I may, one of the issues with when we were talking about the bathtub with the waterproofing, initial designs from the structural engineer had the slab at almost 20 inches thick in order to stop the hydrostatic pressure from pushing it up. So that was a lot of the added cost when we were looking at that option. So that was one of the reasons why we think this is so much of a better option.
That could be used as a fall option.
That's below you, so as long as it comes from the ground up, you'll be fine. When it comes from down, not so much.
Any other questions? Tom, Jerry? No? Okay, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move into the workshop. So we have the public hearing. This is on the fire safety inspections. We talked about it during the budget hearings. So we are taking the not-for-profits out as an exemption. That's the first two. Then the second, number 6 is, I hope you guys had a chance to look at it. If you didn't, we can pull it, but we went over the fee structure. Unfortunately, Jane's mother-in-law passed away, so she can't be here today. She had looked at Clarkstown and some other municipalities, and they made adjustments to it, her and Denise Sullivan. The only question I kind of had was still on how the colleges maybe get treated with the dorm rooms. There was something about maybe putting a cap on it, and I don't know that anybody... Yeah, so I don't know that it's addressed in here. I got, and actually Mike Bettman's mother-in-law passed away today, too. So, I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at it. If you want to pull it to the next meeting, that's fine.
What the hell have changed? What was it? What's it now?
You didn't look in your emails, now, did you? Let me see if it's in the backup. It may be in the backup.
I don't know if the colleges were being charged, right?
They were not, and this is changing it, so the question was...
That's the change.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't know if I think during budget here, we talked about maybe putting some kind of cap on it, so they still weren't like...
Right.
I don't know. In the backup, did they have, there was a thing that showed the difference in pricing? Do we know if it got in there? No, I have it here, good Lord, I know you. Let's see. think we should just pull it and everyone take a look at it. I think we should just pull it, yeah.
Yeah, let's just pull it.
I think we should just pull it and take a look at it. I mean, it was just tough, you know, Jane's had, her mother-in-law passed away,
Yeah,
Mike Bettman's
Mike,
mother-in-law
yeah.
passed away, it was
All
like,
right.
Allison, we're just gonna pull it, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, because we don't wanna adopt it and then have it be.
Do we want to set a hearing date?
Well, we'll do the local law. This is
Okay.
just changing the resolution, the fee structure, so
Okay.
the local law will go through, and then we just, for our January meeting,
Nice.
get this ironed out. There's an email that shows the changes, and I think the only question was, what we do with like the colleges and stuff. Okay, I think it was in an email. Okay, 7 is just the town board meeting schedule for next year. Number 8, which is somewhat related to a later number here, is, number 10 is, we had put a cap on how much we would pay, and we are just over that cap, so we are increasing the cap. Number 9 is increases to the fee schedule, so Carmel looked at Clarkstown and some of the other towns, and we're still pretty competitive against them, but we brought ours up a little bit. We met with Jeff, and we all went over it, and we kind of agreed upon what is a reasonable increase in the filming. So number 10 is, what I was saying about Mike Zarin, is the request for expression of interest. So it's, final touches were put on it, so it's ready to go. Number 11, this has to do with the county, and maybe Jim can speak to this if anybody has questions, but the county needs to basically acquire a part of town owned parkland, and this is just us agreeing with them that they need it, and I think there has to be some kind of look for them to work with us, if we get some land from them, trying to do like some kind of swap.
What the county is proposing there is straightening out that turn.
Yeah.
On Washington Avenue. We have a bridge, and I guess some of the land is ours that we're
Yep.
giving to them.
Yep.
Parkland, in order for them to make that turn. That's going to be a major change. I don't know if it was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, where 4 young men seriously hurt
Yeah,
there,
that's a terrible.
on that turn.
Yeah.
If we're going to do that, we're going to have to aren't we going to have to get approval from the state?
I'm gonna
To
guess,
exchange-
and
When we
again-
did it
For
for the,
parkland, that's interesting. yeah.
when we did it for the towers over for O&R, we had to get approval from the state.
yeah, I know
Yeah,
that,
to give up parkland.
Even if we're exchanging one piece of parkland for another,
Well,
we are going to have to get approval from the state, because we had to get legislative approval back when O&R wanted to put the
True.
H tower up to bring more power to Beltline Mobile, Verizon.
I know Rob mentioned to me that they were looking at giving us, we were talking to them, I don't want to say it if it's not gonna happen, but, Eric, come on up, thank you. Save me from myself. Next time, just yell.
Yeah, so yes, the county's aware that it's parkland. It requires an alienation of parkland. That's all been discussed with the county, with the town attorney's office. They are looking at a parcel of land that's currently owned by the county
Yep.
that we actually already maintain
Yep.
as what they're going to swap with us for that.
Swap.
So it's kind of
So
a
in that
no,
case-
has little impact on us because we're already kind of
In
taking
that
care
case,
of
it
it.
could be equal, Tom. as-
Yeah, I know that.
But that's all up to the state at this, but that's in the process of getting done. So, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
I was definitely struggling with that one. Number 12 is a wall subdivision. This is just basically, I think the property was sold, they're transferring the bond from one entity to another entity. Number 13 is a tax cert, which I believe the town is a 0, so I don't know that we really have any. I saw the 0 and I stopped right there. 14 is retaining Keenan Bean in connection with a new lawsuit that just came in. Okay, 15 is approving lending assistance to the Volunteer Fire Association plan for the holiday drive-through event for December 19th. We have the separate retirement of Dwayne Henthorn, effective December 7th. He has served for over 30 years. 17 is what we started the meeting with, the proclamation and naming the street there for Reverend Sanders. Number 18 is lending aid to the Orangeburg Fire Department for their holiday parade, which happened this past Saturday. Number 19, declaring surplus vehicles and equipment. This all from Parks? Yeah. Okay. Number 20 is awarding the contract for snow plowing at Courtwood Village to Healthy Industries of Orangeburg, the lowest qualified bidder. Number 21 is the approving the 2021 license agreement with Applied Golf for the management, operation, and maintenance of Blue Hill Golf Course and Restaurant and at Broad Acres Golf Course. I know Jeff and Dennis Michaels worked hard on this, so thank you. I think we got it all together in time. Number 22, this is appointing Jason Zelenka permanent to the police radio dispatcher. This is a whole process. I think this is the third time he's been on here, but it's finally, I guess, the final step. And then we have another retirement from DEME, accepted retirement of Tommy Fitzmaurice, effective December 11, 2020, and he has over 35 years. 24 is authorizing the final payment to Mazer. This was for the TOD that was done. Apparently, we exceeded the amount that was in the resolution, so we're increasing it to cover it for the auditor's purposes, I guess. 25 is creating the position of assistant court clerk in justice court. This is the one we talked about during the budget. And then we have the audit. Another lot of names again. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Okay.
Motion to open public comment, Teresa.
Motion to open public comment made by Tom Divany. Do I have a second? Dennis Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
So before I open up to the people, we do have, you all had before you a series of emails that came in. It was also handed to the town clerk. It is for residents that live on Livingston Street who've had serious complaints for some time. So rather than read them all in, we have them from Emily Meehan, one from Jacob Tannenbaum, one from Amanda Crespo Perez, and one from Andrea. This matter is before the Traffic Advisory Board and is being worked on. So I know people think they could just come in and we can just make changes, but it has to be a study. We have to make sure what's being done is safe, and, you know, that Jim Dean could probably speak to it better. But they are going through the process to see what is the safest way, and then they will take steps and come back to us, and it is in the works. And nobody likes to hear that. They want it done, but these comments will be read in. The town clerk has them, and we will consider them as part of our public portion. Next, I have Michael Lawler from Pearl River. Oh, excuse me, Assembly-elect Michael Lawler from Pearl River. Three minutes.
Do I have 3 minutes? I'll be briefer than 3 minutes. I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank the town board and Supervisor Kenny for allowing me to serve as deputy town supervisor over the last 3 years. I've enjoyed the opportunity and the experience working with you, as well as our other elected officials, our department heads, and town employees. I'm honored by the opportunity, starting January 1st, to represent the town of Orangetown and part of the town of Ramapo in the New York State Assembly, and look forward to working with you in that capacity and being back from time to time to give an update to the town board on what's going on in Albany. And certainly, again, look forward to the opportunity to serve. Want to wish everybody a happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. And thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Michael, thank you.
I'm not going to say anything. Okay, Kimberly Pagliaroli? Do you guys want to come up together? I know you both signed in. Sure.
Hi, how are you? I'm not sure if this is something you can help us with. but I'm trying to go through the steps of finding someone who can. We purchased a house in Blauvelt back in October, and it seems that the neighbors across the street legally park on the street but block the driveway. And my husband and my dad have the long pickup trucks, and it's horrible to get in and out. We tried to speak to the neighbors, to no avail. In fact, they got angry. And I went to the town traffic advisory board, brought them pictures, gave them the scenario. They said that they weren't doing anything illegal. There was not much they could do. And asked I think his name is Officer or Detective Yanazone, said that he would take a ride by, go there and speak to them and maybe, just explain to them, just to be courteous, because they're not doing anything illegal. And when I mentioned that they're going to get hit, their answer was, well, then you have to pay for it. And I spoke to the previous owner of the house, who did mention that it happened a few times, and that's just what they do, because they've lived there for so long.
Right. But basically, they block the access and the egress to our driveway.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
you need a certain turning radius to get out of your driveway.
We widened
Yeah.
the end of the driveway
Right,
because
and-
we were ruining the lawn.
Right. And it
Trying to
seems
get in.
Don't get me wrong, we've tried to approach them, and it seems when you do mention, listen, we just moved into the house, we're having a lot of construction done, could you not park here? We have trucks coming in and out. When you mention it to them,
They do it more.
they'll park a car there for 2 weeks.
When Officer Yanazone called me and said he spoke to them, their answer was, because we actually have a circular driveway, there's 2 ways in and out. They directly blocked access
of them.
to both ways to get in. Like, they made their point. I don't know why, but they did. I figured maybe we'll get a little reprieve once December, or I think it's November 15th hits, and there's no overnight parking. No, that doesn't apply to them.
Yeah.
That
Don't get me
doesn't
wrong,
apply.
Because we went to the traffic board
Yep.
advisory, they gave them warnings.
Yeah.
Didn't
They
help.
said,
It goes in one ear and out the other. They probably just crumbled it up and threw it in the garbage. They don't care.
we're looking to see if there's any
We
possibility
just need help, somebody to help us.
of I'm not looking to stop parking on the street.
Right.
I mean, they've got 12 cars. I know, there's a lot going on there. And I don't mind if they line the whole street. And I don't even need both entrances. If I could just get one entrance to get in and out of the driveway. So I'm looking for a no parking. I've seen them around, no parking, 6 feet either way sign. And I don't know where to go first. The traffic advisory board, when I went back the second time, basically said, I'm awful sorry, we can't help you.
What street are you on?
And at least if
Burroughs?
Burroughs Lane. And at least if they can enforce the no parking, because, just
Well-
this whole weekend, there were 6 cars out there, 2 of them even parked the wrong way.
That's a pretty wide street, too.
Well,
It's not that
It's-
wide,
it's-
it's
if
not that
we-
wide to have a double yellow, but once you,
I'm sorry, I can't hear him. Sorry?
Or down here on Burroughs.
Halfway down.
we're like 2 houses
Right,
down from
we're
Falco.
2 houses down from the sheriff.
Yeah.
From the sheriff. And, it's just,
Once you park a car there, I'm sure that there's complaints because the buses have trouble getting through there.
Yeah, because that's not a cut-through street.
No, it's a dead end.
It's like one way.
Yeah.
Celtic down the end, but that's it, you got to
Correct.
turn around. Come
yup,
There's a
and the
big
farther
turnout
down
there.
you go, the wider you get, but that's not the case. Like, if I park outside on my side of the street and they're parked, nobody's getting through.
Yeah.
The same
It's
side
like this.
as, Same side as Sheriff Falco?
I am,
Yes.
yep. Yeah, we're 2 down. It's the sheriff, and then the Skellies, and then us. Yep. So I don't,
Yeah, so we will, I do know you were in front of clearly I know you were in front of the Traffic Advisory Board. I thought that they were still looking at it. I could be wrong. But we will follow up with the Traffic Advisory Board, and
We're hitting, not me, myself, but my father-in-law, he's hitting the mailbox,
Oh,
coming
yeah.
out of the driveway.
yeah.
yeah.
And
So we will-
when we have
and I
guests
do
over,
know
we
that,
have to-
you know, that Officer Yanazone did say he was going to speak about the enforcement issues, so I know they're working on it. I will follow up with both of them and see what they can do.
Yeah, we just,
Okay. Just to see if we could get them to stop parking there, like,
I mean, the traffic advisory, again, like the last people
Yeah.
from Livingston Street, they usually they have to do some kind of study and review before they come back and say these things, and then they do they try a temporary for 6 months.
And they really can't pick
No.
one spot in the middle of a street and say.
no parking here. All right, because they told us they were done, they can't help
The
us.
next people will say, you know what, I don't like them across from my house, and the other people will say, I don't like them over here either, so.
Okay?
Yeah, but at least on the enforcement issue, at least we should get you some, you know, at least.
I mean, and, you know, like I said, we've approached them and said, look, we,
Be a little bit of a concern to me
Yeah.
in one house.
Yeah.
I mean, we have approached them and said, look, we don't want to hit anybody's car. If you could just, please just not park right across the back of the driveway. And their answer is, look, this is the way it is, you don't like it too bad. That's the answer we got from
But the
them.
traffic, the advisory board
Yeah,
is
that's what
done,
Yeah.
so
Okay. Well,
there's
you-
nothing this
So
board.
again, we tried the neighbors being neighborly, and then the traffic advisory board, so now we're coming to you.
So are they,
because-
they're parking across the street from your entrance and your exit to your
Yes,
driveway?
they're-
So you don't have the turning radius?
Correct.
Yes, they're limiting the egress
Yeah.
and the access to the
Like
driveway.
pulling out tonight, I mean, know if you're interested, but I took a picture of what it's like pulling out of my driveway. And it's just, you can't.
Do you want to email me those pictures and I can send them on to the board to take a look at?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Because
Yeah.
it's just, it's just right there. And,
Right.
I mean, they have a lot of places to park,
Right.
but they stop dead center.
It's like they're making a point.
It's like they're making a point and I don't know what it is.
You don't like it too bad. That's basically
Well.
the way it is.
Yeah. And,
Okay.
like the police, if you see them parked the wrong way illegally, call. I mean, I don't want to sit there calling
Right.
on my, I don't want to do that.
Right.
I don't care
Just
where
that
you
one
park.
spot.
Just let me in and out of the driveway.
Get in and out.
Okay. Send us the pictures, we will follow up, and we'll definitely circle back with you.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Okay, Mike Mandel from Pearl River.
Yeah. Good evening Supervisor Kenny and members of the Town Board. Michael Mandel, a resident of Pearl River. Item 24, I see they exceeded their contract. Now, this goes back. This is all about that Pearl River Transit Oriented Development Project. And TOD is defined as high-density development centered around high-quality public transportation. Now, let's start with number 2. There is no high-quality public transportation now due to COVID-19. But even before this, the transit was poor, and the MTA is thinking of eliminating the entire system west of the Hudson River. Number 2, the people of Pearl River do not want high-density development. There was a public input session that was held at the high school, but there were people there from all over Orangetown, not just Pearl River. The decision should be up to residents of Pearl River only. Do we want to resemble Montvale with that monstrous development that changes the face of the town on Kindercomack Road? I don't think so. High-density develop equals workforce housing. Do we want low-income developments in our downtown? Again, no is the answer. If you develop this plan in the future and look for federal funding, or a developer who wants to build does so, we lose all our local rights. As it is, HUD and the federal government want to take control of local zoning. And if we continue down this road, we will lose our local control. Last time this item was on the agenda, I spoke about the problems with the map that was prepared by the consulting firm and the full environmental assessment form. Okay? Have they been corrected? We paid for it. I did not see an updated zoning map or corrected EAF on the town's website. At the meeting, the number of units was not defined fully. At that September 17, 2019 public hearing, it did not fully disclose the amount of units. 400 was mentioned at the meeting. The EAF states 472 with a density bonus of 588. Hopefully the town, this would destroy Pearl River, period. Hopefully this project, we paid for it with a consulting firm. Hopefully it will be put to eternal rest. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Is there anybody else here who has not signed up that would like to speak?
Motion to close.
Okay, we got a motion to close from Tom Divany and a second from Dennis Troy. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
So just in terms of the last speaker, in terms of the TOD study, that was really initiated by the prior supervisor, and some of us supported just doing the study, but that study is dead in the water.
So what I would just add to that is that I think, from the beginning, I always had a problem with the name transit-oriented development. I thought it should have been the downtown revitalization, but I think that it will not be, and again, to waste, because I think we're going to do the comprehensive plan, and we will be able to take some of that information, and we'll start fresh with a new view for downtown.
Well, I tell you, yeah, transit-oriented
Yeah,
density.
that ain't happening, transit-oriented.
It's not happening.
Right.
And not like our former president said that you're not supposed to put the words out there that get people all ticked off.
Yeah.
All right, and then try and sneak stuff through. You know, this, to me, it's dead in the water.
Well, I'd just like to add, I was against it back then because the one thing that it was dependent on was increased train service. And they're trying to lower the trade service. So you're not going to have people coming to Pearl River so they can travel to New York City. It's going to be even worse now. So, you know, I think I said it a year ago, this is not what Pearl River's all about. And I'm glad everyone else on the board agrees. Well, at least everyone who spoke. And then to add to that, on another issue, I'd like to put under new business an extension of the outdoor dining through December 31st, 2021. Even though it's going into winter, the businesses are taking a hit. If there's a sunny day in January, February, March, April, May, I think we should extend it so that they can actually have outdoor dining and not have to worry about getting ticketed and fined for having outdoor dining. And it should be done now as opposed to on a piecemeal basis. And I think we should just extend the
I'm sorry, Tom, what day did you say through?
December 31st, 2021. Give me. I just don't think you're going to have these businesses that are paying taxes and that are struggling. They're going to need outdoor dining to increase their capacity throughout the whole year, and I think it should just be extended to help these businesses out.
Caveat, as long as there's a restriction.
Well, and
I don't think you need that caveat. I think we should give our outdoor businesses.
So they can have full indoor and outdoor dining?
Well, like the whole thing is, Paul, I don't think, there's still going to be a lot of people in this town who are not going to go indoor. So you got to give the businesses an option to keep the outdoor dining open. These businesses have taken too much of a hit. They should be able to go through December 31st, 2021 and try to recapture some of the money that they've been forced to, give up because they've been forced to close or not. They're not closed, but their capacity is 25%. A lot of these businesses, 25% of 30 seats is you can have 2 tables. We got to help the people in Orangetown keep their businesses open, and that's why I think they should.
Nobody else could agree more.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's disagreeing with you.
That's why I said outdoor dining, because I think a lot of people are still going to have issues with coming indoor dining, and that's why I think we can always revisit it if all these guys are doing great and they don't need it, but I think they are going to need it, and they're going to need it through next December.
I support that.
I as well.
So we're just going to extend the current resolution, which we don't even have, or just extend what's ever in there for another year?
Yeah.
I think we already went through December 31st, if I remember correctly.
Of 2021.
Of this year. No, I know.
Okay.
I would have preferred to have Jane or somebody weigh in on just some of the issues that may be.
She's not here, so. we'll pass again.
Okay, then, looks like I'm overruled on that one. Okay, so are you,
One of the things you could say, under the restrictions that were already there up to this period, because what Jane did, and not the building department did, they checked out every site that ended up doing the outdoor dining.
Yeah.
So just say under the same restrictions.
no, I just know there was some issues with the heaters and that they were working on.
I think it's going to be interesting in the snow. People,
Yeah.
outdoor dining down in New York City.
I don't really think a lot of people are going to go out, but I know there's always that one day or 2 days or 3 days in February where it's 65, 70 degrees out, and these businesses could make a lot of money on a day like that. And if it's not in place, they're not going to be able to do it. And Maybe no one will keep the outdoor dining, but at least it gives them the option to make some money during,
Fine, Tom.
this partial shutdown.
Okay.
Just getting back to Mr. Mandel and his thing. You realize this was for a study that was already done, and that we've already put it on hold. So we all understood what the public said, and we thought that the study was a good idea to give us a vision on what it would look like if we wanted to do it, so we can make an educated decision, and all that information now can go into the comprehensive study, so it was actually money well spent. But what we're talking about tonight is just finishing that off, and it is put on the shelf, so that everybody understands. It's still not an open issue anymore.
Okay, let's get to the public hearing on the fire inspection law. Okay, so can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make a motion.
Paul Valentine, second. Jerry Batari, all in favor?
Aye.
So no one signed up to speak. And anybody want to speak? Okay, no one wants to speak.
Motion to close?
Dennis Troy made a motion, Tom seconded. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and we have to adopt the, and again, the language, actual language, you should have it on the attachment there. It's really just basically taking out that one line and the not-for-profit organizations. So can I get a motion to adopt the proposed local law to amend local law number 2 of 1994 regarding the certificate of compliance required?
I'll make it.
Dennis Troy, second?
Yeah.
I think Jerry said it first. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
You got that? Okay, number 6, we are pulling to the next meeting. Number 7, it's the 2021 calendar for the regular town board meetings and the police commission meetings. Can I get a motion?
Moved.
Did Jerry second it? I mean, did Paul, you second it? Oh, am I hearing things? Tom, I'm hearing voices. So it was Tom Divvy, it was Paul Valentine second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I swear I thought I heard him say a second. This is again approving, it's amending the resolution for Zarin and Steinmetz, basically increasing the cap to $30,000 for the redevelopment of the H&A Palisades. Can I get a motion? Tom Dimony, second.
Yeah.
No, I'm hearing voices. That's why, like I heard Jerry yelled, "Here's him." Okay, Jerry Batari, I think was all in favor.
Aye.
We need to get you a little flag, Jerry, because I can't see you.
You need a buzzer over there.
You know, when they took attendance, I said here.
Some give them Simon.
Okay, number 9, resolution to approve the fee schedule for filming on private property, film, TV shoot commercials, Chapter 14 regarding commercial filming. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, and a second? Dennis Troy, second.
I was looking for Jerry.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 10, the distribution of the request for expressions of interest for potential redevelopment. It came out really nice. They did a good job on it. Yeah, money well spent. Okay, so can I get a motion to distribute the request for expressions of interest for, this is for the H&A property?
Yeah.
Jerry Batari, second.
Second.
I don't know, Paul Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
Should do one from each side, it'll keep it easier. Okay, number 11, is this what we talked about, the realignment of the Washington Avenue Bridge? Technically, this is something that's, we agree with the 4F evaluation. Can I get a motion? Dennis Troy, second. Paul Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
We should just have that half do the one.
Yes.
and
Oh, then
us.
this one?
Yes.
That's a good idea. That's a good
That's what we're
idea.
gonna do, Paul.
Okay, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna alternate. Okay.
So Jerry, you're doing this one. bud.
Jerry, you're doing this one, okay? So this is, it's basically just releasing a bond from one person and giving it to the new person, somebody else bought the property. so we're releasing it and basically transferring it over. So motion by Jerry Batari, second by Dennis Troy. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, approve the authorization, again, this is a tax cert where the town is not refunding any money. Can I have a motion? Paul Valentine. Second. Tom Divany, all in favor?
Aye.
Authorize retaining with Keenan Bean regarding a litigation matter. Moved by Dennis Troy, second by Jerry Batari. All in favor?
Aye.
Approve lend assistance for the Volunteer Fire Association to Pan Holiday Drive-Through. Can I get a motion? Tom Divany, second. Paul Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
It works.
It does work. Except now I forget who started. Okay, accept with regret the retirement of Dwayne Henthorn from the Highway Department after 30 years. Motion by Jerry Batari, second by Dennis Troy. All in favor?
Aye.
Designate, install a memorial sign on Valentine Avenue from Union Street to Ferdinand Avenue in Spark Hill after Reverend Dr. Lewis Sanders. Yeah, that's the, right, Paul?
I'll second that.
Tom Divany, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, approve lend aid to the 2020 Orangeburg Fire Department Holiday Parade. Jerry Batari move, second. Dennis Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, declare surplus certain vehicles from the Department of Parks and Recreation. I think that was Tom Divany. I forget who his last one was. Tom Divany. Second by Paul Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
Award the contract for snow plowing at Courtwood Village to Helmke Industry. Moved by Dennis Troy. Second by Jerry Batari. All in favor?
Aye.
Approve the 2021 license agreement for Applied Golf for Blue Hill and the Broad Acres Golf Course. Paul Valentine move. Second, Tom Divany. All in favor?
Aye.
Appoint Jason Zelenka permanent to the position of police radio dispatcher. Jerry Batari.
Mm-hmm.
Second, Dennis Troy. All in favor?
Aye.
Accept the retirement of Tommy Fitzmaurice from DEME after 35 years of service, effective December 11, 2020. Tom Divany.
Sure.
Second, Paul Valentine. All in favor?
Aye.
Authorize the final payment to Mazer for the Pearl River TOD project. I don't remember who. Jerry Batari. Second, Dennis Troy. All in favor?
Aye.
Create the position of Assistant Court Clerk in the Justice Court. Paul, is that you, Paul Valentine? Okay, second, Tom Divany. All in favor? Aye. Okay, you want to do this? You want to, do we have to do an actual motion on your thing? Your new business thing?
Oh, yeah, let's make
Let's do the new business thing while he's doing that. Go ahead.
We'll make a motion to extend outdoor dining good through December 31st, 2021, with the same
Under the same terms.
requirements that were instituted by the building department on our last motion for outdoor dining.
Okay. Okay, do we get a second? Oh, did you second it? Dennis Troy seconded. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, the audit for tonight's meeting consists of one warrant for $838,000. Items of interest, number one, a PECO, $47,000 for the fuel station replacement. That's coming from bonded and CHIPS money. Number two, 2 and 3, the applied golf contracts. Number 4, Barrett Incorporated, $207,000 for the new roof above our heads in the new town hall. That's bonded money. Number 5, Capasso, $68,000 for recycling. Number 8, Goosetown, $30,000 for police equipment leases. Number 9, Edemia Identity and Security, $34,000 for police live scanning system, and that's through grant money. Number 12, Schultz Ford, $162,000 for a highway truck, and that's bonded. Any questions on the audit?
Nope. Okay. Okay, so, we get to do this. So, we're gonna go into executive session to discuss acquisition, sale, lease of real property with public right of effect value. Audit,
Did we,
I don't know, this, I would do this all the
thought we
time.
didn't have to?
No, I think we have to, yeah, every time we change them, we keep changing them. Okay.
All right.
Motion to approve the audit, accept the audit, okay. Dennis
Second.
Troy, Tom Divany, aye, okay. We do have some adjournment, I know, we change it every week, we just, whatever. So we do have some adjournments. We have Catherine Caputo, resident of Spark Hill, mother of Orangetown Highway employees Thomas Caputo and Louis Caputo, and mother-in-law of Orangetown Chief Fire Safety Inspector Michael Bettman. John Crow, resident of Pearl River, brother of retired Orangetown Police Officer Tom Crow. Michael Diskin, resident of Orangeburg. Susan Dunleavy, a resident of Pearl River. S. Burton Hosted, a resident of Blauvelt, ex-chief, life member, and chairman emeritus of the Blauvelt Fire Company, Volunteer Fire Company. Donald Kivlahan, resident of Blauvelt. Jack Lukens, resident of Tapan. Maureen Reynolds, resident of Pearl River. And Betty Slavin, resident of Tapan and mother-in-law of Director of OSSE, Jane Slavin. Anything, any comments? No? Okay, so move to close the meeting is Tom Divany, second. Dennis Troy, all in favor? Aye.